begins. After their meeting in the club, Victor and Elizabeth started dating. All went very well and both were very happy, until that one day. Victor and Elizabeth sat on a bench, staring at the moonshine, when Victor suddenly turned to Elizabeth and said with a very serious voice that they couldn't be together like this. He tells Elizabeth his biggest secret. He is a vampire. He explains to her that she doesn't have to be afraid of him. He doesn't drink human blood. He drinks animal blood instead. But then Victor tells her that they really can't be together because Elizabeth is so beautiful that he's always in temptation to bite her. Elizabeth didn't believe Victor. She didn't get the fact that he's a vampire and that he could have feelings for her. Victor explained that he was a very special vampire, a vampire with a soul. He explained that vampires with a soul are able to feel any emotions, just like humans, so they can also fall in love. Elizabeth didn't want to lose Victor, though he was a vampire. She asked him to bite her too, so she would become a vampire, just like Victor. But Victor refused. He explained to her that if he would bite her, he would probably kill her and many others after her. He didn't want to do that. But he said there might be another option too. Victor tells Elizabeth about a witch he has known for ages. She helped him with many different problems, so maybe she could help Elizabeth too. And so Victor and Elizabeth went to the witch. When Victor and Elizabeth arrived at the witch's lair, they explained their problems to the witch. The witch recognized their problem and she tried to help them. She walked to her table and grabbed a spellbook. She looked in her spellbook and said she could probably help them. She turned herself to Elizabeth and said she had to do one thing for the magic to work. Elizabeth, trying to know what she had to do, waited for the instructions to be given by the witch. "Well," the witch said, "stand in front of this mirror, look at yourself and say 3 times the words, 'Nolo amplius sit aret.' After that, close your eyes, and you two can be together without the danger of Victor biting you." And so it happened. Not knowing what she said, Elizabeth spoke out the words, "Nolo amplius sit amen," for the spell. In fact, the spell was about taking away her beautiful nature. And so it did. The next morning, Elizabeth woke up and looked in the mirror. When she saw her face in the mirror, she screamed so loud that the mirror broke into 1,000,000 pieces. There were bumps, spots, all over her face. She became ugly. Victor runs into the room asking what's wrong. Elizabeth shouted at Victor that he had to look at her face. It became ugly. Elizabeth blames the witch for taking away her beauty. She shouts the witch is an evil woman and that she hates her. Victor tried to calm Elizabeth with all his sweet words. But even though Victor told Elizabeth he would always love her, no matter how she looked, Elizabeth found it hard to believe. Victor couldn't see his girl that unhappy any longer, so he decided to go back to the witch on his own. Maybe she knew the answer for his problem. He begged the witch to help him, so the witch asked what was wrong. Victor explained Elizabeth became really unhappy with the change. He wants her to be happy again, so he asked the witch if she could give her beauty back to Elizabeth. The witch tells him that she can do that, but Victor has to give something in return. Victor is so glad the witch could help his lovely wife that he was prepared to give anything. The witch agreed with that and asked Victor to follow her. He then follows the witch to a room behind the curtain. The witch summons a spell, which causes flashing lights behind the curtain. A terrible scream of Victor sounds through the air. Roar! The witch laughs manically. The spell succeeded. When Victor walked home, he didn't know he gave the witch in return to give Elizabeth her beauty back. He did have a weird feeling in his stomach, though. When Victor walks past the bus stop, he saw a very pretty girl waiting for the bus. He walked to her, and when the girl noticed him, she smiled. Unfortunately, it was too late for the girl, because the moment she smiled, Victor ran to her to bite her in her neck. He keeps drinking and drinking and drinking the blood until the girl is dead. Victor enjoyed every second of it. Elizabeth looked in the mirror. Wow! She got pretty again! She was absolutely astonished. Then she noticed Victor coming home. But the moment she saw Victor, she knew something was really, really wrong.